Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is here and everyone is fine. Yes, because of the snowstorm, this week we're like this. Let's hope this is not going to be the same next week too. So this week we're all our homes and trying to concentrate on the lesson. This just makes me remember the 2 years ago when we were all just, shut in our houses and trying to accommodate the new situation, which was the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, good, bad old days. Let's not remember them. Right, ladies and gentlemen. So today, this week, we're going to be talking about the next week's, this week 2's topics. But before that, I just would like to recap on the previous week's content. What did we do the previous week? We just started with an introduction to the class, which was about who I was, where I worked, and all this stuff. You can see the information there. I'm just showing these for those who weren't in the class last week. So this was what we did. And then, of course, we talked about the course aims and the structure. This was the main structure. You remember this, the assessment and the attendance requirements. So this was what we just talked about. And after that, of course, we talked about the structure of the course, which was the course outline, which is basically the syllabus actually. So this week we're going to be completing about anything. We're going to be completing anything that's about fungibility, non-fungibility, NFT, historical background, some examples, advantages, and some good points of NFT. Of course, there are some other disadvantages too, but maybe we'll talk about them later when we just get deeper into the topic. So, and after this was the second half of the term as I planned it, and this is what we're going to be talking about. But let's not just get too distracted, and let's quickly recap the previous week's contents. So the previous week, we talked about the fungibility, non-fungibility issue. And as I remember, I told you that anything that's fungible is interchangeable with another unit of the same material. So if there is this $1, if there is this $10 units, okay, you could use it, you could interchange it with 2 $5 units, or 10 $1 units. But there were also non-fungible items, okay? So for instance, animals, human beings, okay? These were non-fungible items. The tickets, of course, are non-fungible because, as I remember, we talked about that Madonna concert. Nobody would like to give their front row seats in exchange for a back row seats, because the value is not the same. Similarly, the key here is value. Of course, the houses are non-fungible items because any house is not the same as another house. The location is different, the material is different, the age is different, the district is different. So the value attached to that house is, of course, different from another house, which has a different value. So basically, we talked about fungibility and non-fungibility issue, and in the end, we came to conclude that a fungible item, or token as we call it, and is interchangeable with another unit of the same thing. Money, gold, silver, okay, these are all the precious materials. These are all fungible items. You can just give gold in 1 kilo of gold and get 1 kilo of jewelry. As long as the weight is the same, the value is the same. However, with non-fungible items, this is not the case. Like, for instance, paintings. Paintings are not the same. A Mona Lisa painting is definitely not the same as a Picasso painting. A concert ticket for a Tarkan concert is not the same as another artist's ticket, because both artists have different styles, different techniques, different artistic approaches to music, so they are not interchangeable. So anything that's not fungible, that's non-fungible, in other words, is drastically different. And it's rare, it's one of a kind. That's what we talked about in the previous week, actually. Now, and I asked any questions then, no questions came, but I just want to remind you that if you have any questions, please write them in the chat box, and after the lesson, I'll go back and try to answer your questions so that we won't lose any time. And this time, however, starting this week, we're going to be talking about some more technical terms. You may wonder why we need to talk about those terms, but those are the key terms, and there are not many actually. Those are the key terms that we need to understand what a non-fungible item, non-fungible token is. So first of all, after we talked about fungibility, non-fungibility, let's talk about what a token is. As you can see from this picture, the visual on your screen, I don't know if you can see it, but some people just don't see it. I'll just show it like this and then make it a bigger screen. Yeah, as you can see from this picture, this visual here, this is what token is about. So we have the real data that's not shared, we have the encryption, and then we have the token shared. That picture, that visual should give you an idea, but anyway, I just want to move on and show you some more details. I just changed the screen, and I'm not sure if everyone can see. Can you see the new slides? There are some writings on it. Let me see. I think everyone can see it. Yes, okay, somebody said yes. Good, thank you. So a token is, ladies and gentlemen, actually a substitute for something valuable or sensitive. Like, for instance, think of something sensitive, something valuable. Like, for instance, your phone number is sensitive. Your credit card number is sensitive. Your passwords are sensitive, okay? These are all sensitive data. They have their own meaning and their value. But when you don't want to share these with everybody. So what you do is, actually, when you talk about token, you talk about a cryptographic strings or numbers that just relate to that sensitive data, okay? So when we talk about token, we are not talking about the real, sensitive, valuable, meaningful data. We are talking about the cryptographic string or numbers that is not the real data, but just sends us to the data. I mean, a token is always a cryptographic code. So, for instance, a token represents any digital asset that can be traded. For instance, your credit card numbers, they are very important and valuable. Lots of hackers have always tried to steal your data, your phone number, your email number, your email addresses, credit card number, these are all valuable. And so they must be protected. What token does is actually digitally and cryptographically protect that valuable data. It's actually a kind of representation of the real and sensitive data, okay? So for instance, think of it like, imagine a casino, okay? Where there are players, where there are people who gamble, okay? And they don't use real money, okay? Remember all those movies and series? They use small plastic chips, plastic pieces. They represent the real money. Real money is always in the safe of the casino, okay? Real money is not used unless you want to get your money back. You use chips, those small plastic pieces, when you play games, when you gamble in a casino. That's a token, actually. I hope I can make it clear, because I can't see your faces and facial expressions. I'm just hoping that it is clear. Let me just give an example. So for instance, this is what a token looks like, actually, ladies and gentlemen. You can see the string of numbers and letters. You see, this might be your credit card number. This might be your address. This might be your Turkish Republic identity number, okay? These are all sensitive data. So a token is not the actual real sensitive data. It's an encrypted form of that data. I hope I can make that clear. So when we say non-fungible token, actually, we are not talking about the real non-fungible item. We are just talking about that non-fungible representation of the real item. That's an important point, ladies and gentlemen, to keep in mind. So when we talk about a non-fungible token, we are not talking about the real work of art. We are not really talking about the genuine data. We are talking about a kind of representation of that data or digital art. I hope that has become clear in your minds as well. So that's a token, actually. That token, like I said, but then I'm wondering, and I'm sure you're wondering, what is the difference between a token and a coin then, teacher? Why do we have two terms here? Why do we talk about token on the one hand and coin on the other hand? Well, that's an interesting story, okay? Because let's just take a look at this visual here. I've changed the slide. Can you see my slide now? Let me just get out of, because it happened in the morning. There was another class and the student said, "Oh, teacher, we cannot see your slide." Good, that's good. I just need to take from time to time to make sure that you all see what I see here. Good. I'm going back to the full screen mode again. So basically, let's just take a look at this. Coins versus tokens. I'm just giving you 10 seconds, 15 seconds to take a look at this slide. Yeah, that's basically that basically summarizes the difference between coins and tokens. But let's just get into more detail. Okay, when you just say token, and from an engineering point of view and from a cryptographic point of view, you mean, okay, when you mean something encrypted, okay, that's a very technical term, okay. But when you mean token, like Bitcoin token, Ethereum token, Dogecoin token, I mean, when you use it with the name of another coin, then you mean something that's related to money. A token in itself does not have any monetary value. It's not valuable. It's just like the one I just showed you, a random number of letters and numbers. It doesn't have any value. What lies behind the token is what is valuable. However, when you talk about a coin, okay, you talk about money. So when you talk about coin, you talk about something itself is valuable, something itself makes money, okay? So for instance, Bitcoin coins are money. Ethereum coins are money, okay? So when you talk about coin, you have something to spend, something that's monetary, something that's financial. A token, on the other hand, is not financial. It's just a representation of cryptographic data, something that's really sensitive and something really critical. So on the other hand, in addition to this, tokens operate on any kind of blockchain. We're going to talk about the blockchain technology later. But coins have their own blockchain. So Bitcoins operate on Bitcoin blockchain. Ether operates on Ethereum blockchain. Okay? All different coins have their own blockchain. However, a token can be used, can be operated on any kind of blockchain. It doesn't have an underlying infrastructure. It uses someone else's blockchain. And when it does so, you have to pay because you use someone else's infrastructure. Okay? So when you create a token, you don't have to entirely invent the blockchain. There is this blockchain, Bitcoin blockchain, Ethereum blockchain. You just use that infrastructure to create a token. But when you talk about coin, you have to use that coin on that blockchain. You cannot just use, create, spend Bitcoins on Ethereum blockchain and vice versa. So that is very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. A token is always monetary, is a financial tool, whereas a coin is always monetary, is always financial. It's something related to money, directly related to money. But a token is not. A token is just a cryptographic representation of sensitive data. So, like I said, crypto token, crypto coin, that is the basic difference. Tokens are virtual. They represent non-cash assets. They don't have any monetary value in themselves. What is behind tokens is the actual valuable, expensive, I don't know, cheap, whatever you call it, the thing. Coins themselves have monetary value. It has a cash value. So for instance, if you have 2 Ethereums, now you have like almost $10,000, right? If you have 1 Bitcoin, you have like in Turkish liras, almost over 500,000 Turkish lira. So you can spend coins, but you cannot spend tokens. Can I make it clear? I hope that is clear in your minds. Like I said, I cannot see your faces, so I cannot make sure if that's okay or not. But like I said, if you have questions, you can write in the chat box, and I'm going to come back after the class, after what I have to talk about is over. So basically, that's what token is and coin is, and the difference in between the two. Token is not monetary, is virtual, it doesn't have any cash value. Coin is monetary, it's a financial tool, and it has a definitely sometimes huge cash value. Okay, so in short, coins represent financial values. They are used to transfer values. You can transfer 1 Bitcoin, 2 Ethereums from your account to your friend's account. However, token is just a contract. We'll talk about this later. Token cannot be transferred like money does, okay? It's a kind of contract. And so with tokens, you cannot make any payments. They are only used for a specific purpose, under a specific context. Let me give you an example. For instance, let's say you have a theater ticket, or a football match ticket, or a concert ticket, okay? Let's say for this Sunday, it's 20 o'clock for, I don't know, for a Galatasaray match, for a Fenerbahçe match, or for a concert by a famous artist. You use that ticket only for that game at that time and for that seat. For instance, if you have a match on this Sunday to a football match, and if you have the seat number 37, if it's written on your ticket, seat number 37, Sunday night at 20 hours, okay, you can only use that ticket for that match, for that seat, and at that time, neither before nor after. It's not, it it doesn't work that way. You cannot just go there on Sunday, on a Saturday, and say, "Hey, I have this ticket, let me in." No one will take you into the concert hall. Or on Mondays, one day after the event, you go to the event place venue and say, "Hey, I have this ticket. I want to attend the concert. I want to see the match." No, that's not possible. Tokens are unique. Okay, tokens are unique, and tokens are non-fungible. I hope I can make it clear at in your minds. Like, for instance, exams are non-fungible. There is an exam on a specific date, specific lesson. Okay, if you are not taking that lesson, you cannot go to that. You cannot take that exam. That's what I'm trying to say. So, any questions so far about token, and the difference between these two? Let me check the chat box. I think that's clear because the terms were quite simple anyway, but I'm just checking just in case. All right. So basically, fungible, non-fungible, token, coin, and the difference between these two. These are very important, and I hope these terms are kind of giving you an idea as to what an NFT is. So before we talk about that part, let's talk about tokenization. Tokenization is actually quite simple. Let's take a look at this slide. You have this sensitive data, money, art, gold. You don't want to share them with everyone. So there is this cryptographic procedure, and then you have the token. So basically, tokenization is a kind of encryption, ladies and gentlemen. So that when you encrypt that sensitive data, important, valuable data, you can safely send it, store it, or transfer it. Okay? So when you, for instance, do online shopping, there is this kind of encryption method that the trustable websites use. Okay? They tokenize your credit card, your name, your email address. Okay? And then they send it back to their, and then they process your data that way. Otherwise, your data will be all over the internet. Okay? So with tokenization, sensitive data is never stored. Only an algorithmically generated number, the one just like the one that I just showed you a few minutes earlier. A kind of string of letters and numbers and symbols, and all that's what token is about. Okay? So private data is never stored, never sent when you tokenize it. So for instance, that's what tokenization is like. So you have your credit card number, okay? It's a sensitive data. There is a process of tokenization, encryption, okay, using some kind of cryptographic algorithm, and then you have it in encrypted form, okay? That's what is stored. So no company, no serious big company actually knows your credit card number, real credit card number, real name, I don't know, real email address, okay? They just know it in the form of a token. That's what tokenization is about. And when you talk about an NFT, you are talking about something that's tokenized. I mean, that is encrypted. That is something that is encrypted cryptographically, and only you have that key, and only you have the key to that tokenized item. Any questions about tokenization, coin, token, the difference between these two? Let me just check again. Yeah, I think it seems clear. Okay, so basically what token, coin, and tokenization is about. Let's talk about, actually we were supposed to cover this in the previous week, but because we had that introduction issue, we were just kind of left behind. Now we're going to talk about the week 2 item. And that's we are kind of starting to delve into the issue of non-fungible token. Okay. Before that, I just would, I mean, we're going to come back to that issue later when we talk about decentralization, but I just want to quickly talk about the history of web. Okay. There are actually three phases of internet. There is a web 1, web 2, and web 2.0. Okay, as you can see from the slide, from the picture here, starting close in the 1990s, the web 1 was always owned by state-owned and state-sponsored companies. Okay, the U.S. government and especially the U.S. Public sector owned and started the web 1 internet. But of course, that didn't last long because maintaining, developing, and fixing the problems of the web 1 infrastructure always took a lot of time. Okay, it's on the same slide, someone says, so I'm changing it. Good. Now I guess you can see web 1, web 2, web 3. So web 1 websites, web 1 tools were sponsored by the US government and US public sector. But over time, it became really difficult and expensive for the US government and US public sector to sponsor, to develop, to maintain this infrastructure. And that's when web 2 started, like social networks, okay? Mobile applications, Facebook, Airbnb, Uber, okay? These are all representations of web 2. These, however, became so huge and so monopolistic that they collected users' data and used it for their own good. Everybody does this, especially Facebook is quite good at this, okay? They collect your data, they sell your data in exchange for ads, okay? They give ads. However, this approach annoyed some people. Roughly, I'm talking about this roughly, annoyed some people because they felt that, hey, what's going on? This is our data. How can you do this? We want to own our data. We want to be disconnected from your all those purposes and intents. So they developed their own decentralized systems, because with Facebook, with Google, with Amazon, everything has become so centralized that you cannot easily get rid of their tools and uses. With Web 3.0, however, for the first time, decentralized applications, decentralized architecture became a reality. We're going to talk about this later. So this is where Bitcoin, what is the meaning of web? Web is actually, when it was first invented, web was just a series of interconnected computers, okay? It was like a spider's web, computers from all around the world. But the main computer, the servers, were in the hand of, first of all, in the hand of US government and US public sector, then big companies like Google, Amazon, Facebook, okay? This is what web is about. When we talk about web, anything that is based on internet, anything that runs on the internet, that's what I'm talking about. And when people felt that, hey, what's going on? We need to own our data. We need to stay away from those giant companies. That's when the Web 3.0 began. And Bitcoin, Ethereum, okay, any kind of decentralized data, any kind of decentralized application is coming from that type of understanding. Okay, so let me just change it again. But before we talk about NFTs, what an NFT is, scientifically speaking, I just need to talk about, I just need to give you a little backstory, okay? And that's what I'm going to talk about now. So when you on your screens now, you should be able to see something like colored coins, counterparty, CryptoKitties, Beeple's Chris's sale. That's roughly what an NFT history looks like. So first of all, we're going to be talking about colored coins and what they are. Colored coins. Now, a few minutes earlier, we talked about that a coin is something monetary, something financial, something that has money value, okay? So colored coins are not colored money, of course, but colored coins are the prototype, the archetype, the, let's say, the first inception point of NFTs, because they are very, very small amounts of Bitcoin, okay? But on those small amounts of Bitcoin, some specific metadata, I mean, data about data were added using the Bitcoin's programming language. So for instance, think of it like a 10 lira, okay? Let's say there are thousands of 10 liras in your room right now, but one 10 lira has a small red dot on it, okay? And if I tell you to find that specific 10 lira, it may take some time, but in the end, you will find that specific 10 lira because there is this small red dot on it, okay? That's what colored coins are. They represent certain assets, okay? That's how the idea of an NFT started to be born. First of all, in the March of 2012, okay? That's an historical part of it. There is this link. I'll just share this link later so that you can take a look at it if you want. So how did this work? Because there is some specific metadata, like who created it, when it was created, where it was created, what is that coin about. We knew that that metadata, that additional information made color coins unique, okay? Just like the red dot on your 10 lira, you could easily tell what that specific Bitcoin is related to, was connected to, okay? So that's how the idea of NFT started to be born, because we could easily tell who the owner is, when it was minted, where it was minted, what is related, how much it contained. We can see the specific attributes of that small amount of coin. This is just a quick representation of it, okay? Do they have a specific tag? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. That's what I'm talking about as the metadata. I mean, metadata is actually the data about data. Data is the monetary value. Very small amount of value. But because it is written on the blockchain, okay, you could add some small amount of data. That's the tag. Who minted? Who created that Bitcoin? When it was created? Where it was created? How much? Those type of things were always added into tag. And they were all stored in digital wallets. And they represent physical assets. Like, for instance, in that small metadata, you can say that I have this house, I have this car, and it is written on the blockchain, so it cannot be changed. So people started to realize that there is very interesting thing going on here. If I write into that Bitcoin that I have this car, and if it is stored all around the world, bingo. Everybody knew that it belonged to you, okay? So that's how the idea of NFT started. And because people can easily access those colored coins from their digital wallets, Nobody needed banks. Nobody needed any kind of third party to do the transaction. That's how a colored coin worked, as you can see. Okay. You define the amount of money. Okay. The money is written in the blockchain, and then you get your money. That's how colored coins work. Okay. And because there was this Bitcoin structure, because colored coins use Bitcoin infrastructure, nobody needed a third party. I mean, people didn't need a bank to transfer money. I could just send my colored coins to you without anybody else involved in it. So that's how the idea of colored coins helps the concept of NFTs. For example, I mean, if let's go back to that example later. But of course, there were some problems. First of all, the Bitcoin network didn't actually support this type of use, because Bitcoin is always about money. Okay, Bitcoin structure, Bitcoin blockchain was always programmed to make money, not to be used for other purposes. So there were some engineering problems there. Later, because people used Bitcoin in blockchain so much for colored coins, the system sometimes shut down, sometimes slowed. This was a problem. People just couldn't send colored coins whenever they wanted. That was a problem. Of course, the technology was kind of new and people just didn't realize how important it was now, like we do now. And because all of these issues, because all of these problems, colored coins slowly phased out, and they are no longer used anymore. But the idea remains. And what is the idea? That you can connect blockchain, something digital, to something not digital. So when they come together, we have something unique. That's what colored coins are about. Yeah, not all NFTs are on the Ethereum servers. There are other blockchains, we're going to talk about them, that are used for NFTs, but majority, like 90% of the NFTs are definitely Ethereum based. Any questions about colored coins? Like I said, I mean, it's not used anymore. It's that technology, but the idea that you can connect something digital to something non-digital was extraordinary for the time. Okay, that's very important. Of course, after the colored coins, we have the counterparty. Okay, the same idea we have the same idea of colored coins, but this time it became a totally financial platform. And people started to allocate certain computers to transfer digital assets. There was this blockchain, there is a blockchain, there was always blockchain, Bitcoin, but because the Bitcoin system didn't want to be used that way, people started another platform. Okay, so we have the counterparty. And counterparty was totally financial at the start. But later, of course, there was the mobile game, Spells of Genesis, Force of Will, another blockchain-based game. Then we have Rare Peeps. These were all created and sold on the counterparty. I just want to show you some of them now. Let me just quickly, not that one. Let me just show you the Rare Peeps, for instance. That's very interesting, by the way. Yeah, we have it now. I'm just gonna show the website for you. So, okay. I just want to show you. This is Rare Peeps, for instance. In 2016, this was the first NFT-based collectible, and they were sold for really high prices. Okay, so counterparty was another important step in the idea of NFT development, because it enabled people to buy NFTs, to use their NFTs. So this was very interesting. For instance, nobody before that thought that something digital would be so expensive. Coming back to our topic, and so if you can take a look, if you can just note the names, you can take a look at them later. Spells of Genesis, Force of Will, Rare Peeps. Okay, if you just Google them, you'll find what they are. So for instance, this is one example of the Rare Peep. And they are very valuable, by the way, especially this Homer Simpson Peep. This was what was first time. This is what was sold on counterparty. For instance, $38,000, ladies and gentlemen. This Homer Simpson Peep was sold for, in 2016, it was a lot of money. It is still a lot of money, for $38,500. Yeah, this is how NFTs began. Of course, things are getting more interesting. We have CryptoKitties, like I mentioned that to you previous week, if you remember. Of course, CryptoPunks, CryptoKitties, and Bored Ape Yacht Club. I'm going to talk about them together. CryptoPunks. In 2017, there was this CryptoPunks. It's a collection of digital monkeys. Digital figures like this. These are all JPEG files, by the way. This is what CryptoPunks is all about. If you just Google CryptoPunks, you will see the collection. And it became another inspiration for NFT. There are 10,000 of collectible characters. Okay, people buy them, and it's a lot of money. I mean, I can show you that later, but I just show you some examples. They cost a lot of money. People buy them, and people use them as profile photo, PFP. PFP, by the way, means profile photo. Okay. You can't. Okay. I think you can see now. Yeah. That's CryptoPunks. People, they are, of course, there are 8 here, but you need to buy them one by one. People buy them, and people use them as profile photos in their Instagram accounts, in their Twitter accounts, in their Facebook accounts. Okay, and they are sold for high prices. Let me just show you this, a screenshot. For instance, CryptoPunk number 5822, as of February 12th, okay, was worth of 8,000 Ethereums, which is $23.7 million. That's just one example, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, they are very expensive. Definitely, after CryptoPunk, we have the pixel art, digital art, generative art. That's what came after the CryptoPunk. Then we have the CryptoKitties. That's very interesting. I hope everybody loves kitties, as I do. It's a blockchain game. Okay. Here, that's an example of a CryptoKitty. I mean, who doesn't like this? Take a look at this cuteness. Okay. This is what a CryptoKitty is like. But what is it? It's a game. Okay. People purchase, breed, male, female, and we have a kitten. Okay, people breed, and then sell these virtual cats. Okay, there is no other purpose. You just buy another cat and breed them together. After 1 week, you have a small kitty, which you can sell, of course. Okay, I mean, cats are just static images, ladies and gentlemen. Static images, just a JPEG file, by the way. Nothing interactive here. Just a JPEG file. Okay, there is no real goal other than just buying, collecting, and selling. That's a play to earn game. We're going to talk about this later. And an example is this. Like, for instance, this one, number 208. 35 Ethereums, which 35 Ethers, which means $64,000. I don't know. Can you pay that much money? Would you pay? That's another issue. Okay, so that's how valuable those are. And of course, we have Bored Ape Yacht Club, another NFT collection. Okay, it's like it's used as a PFP, as a profile picture. Okay, it started in 2020, last year. It's not been a year yet. Okay, and if you have an original Bored Ape Yacht Club profile picture, there are those meetings, let's say parties, after parties that only you would be invited to. Okay, only the real owners, original owners of a Bored Ape Yacht Club profile picture would be invited to those. That's, for instance, an example. The one on the left is Jimmy Fallon. I'm not sure if you have heard the name. Jimmy Fallon is the host of Saturday Night Live on American televisions. That's Jimmy Fallon on his Twitter account. And that's Jimmy Fallon on the right. And the one on the left is Eminem, ladies and gentlemen. On the right, we have Jimmy Fallon, Saturday Night Live host, TV host. And on the left, we have Eminem. Important and famous people buy those. And they pay a lot of money, of course. Of course, last year in March, last year in March, the people came. Now, can you see the picture? This one, people, the work of art. Then this happened. Yes. Good. Then this happened. What happened is a digital work. Okay, it was created by Mike Winkelmann. People is just his nickname. It's a collage of 5,000 digital images stitched together, and it was sold for almost $70 million. Today has been 1 year. It's been 1 year today, ladies and gentlemen, that this work of art was sold. It was, until that time, the most expensive NFT. Until that time, I say. Okay? It's just a JPEG file, sold for almost $70 million. Of course, we have Pak, Murat Pak, actually, a digital artist. Okay? Like Banksy, the identity is not clear. But his works are sold for exorbitant prices. Like this one, for instance, The Merge. It was a special project. It was sold for, you ready? For $91 million. $91 million last year in December. Another one by Murat Pak. This is just one enlarged pixel, ladies and gentlemen. Pixel, yeah, pixel. The one on your screen. That's just sold for $1.3 million. And that too, also. It's kind of difficult to wrap your head around why people pay so much money for that amount of work of art. Why would this cost that much? Yeah, that's an important issue. We're going to be talking about that hopefully today. I mean, yeah, right. I mean, why would you pay that much money? Because if you are home right now, so you are in front of your computers, you can just Google Beeple NFT, find the work of art, right click and save it in your computer, on your computer. So why would you pay that much money? It's just an empty block. An empty block that costs $1.3 million, by the way. It's not just an empty, there's a lot of money. And it was sold on Sotheby's website. Yeah, the value is a different thing, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to be talking about this later. So, yeah, another question. I think that it's representing something much more valuable. You are right. It's representing something much more valuable, and that something much more valuable is why you pay so much money for that NFT. For that case, no, of course, not for money laundering. They were legitimate sales, but there are some other sales as well. Okay, so here we're going to be taking a 5 minutes break. Okay, then we're going to be continuing with the characteristics and the importance of NFTs. I'm just going to be stopping my screen sharing, closing the video and closing the audio, but after 5 or 6 minutes, I'll be back. So let's just say it's going to be a break. See you 5 minutes later. Resuming our class. And let me just share my screen. Okay, so talking about non-fungible tokens, of course. So what is an NFT? If we were in class right now, I would be asking you to give your own ideas. But again, let me just ask you quickly. When I say NFT, what comes to your mind? A picture, video, audio? I don't know. What is an NFT? Any ideas?
Anything, I guess, all of this.
All of this?
Like any kind of media that you like put an incredible amount of price.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and it's something. Animated picture like cartoons. Images that make money. Special things, okay? They are special, definitely. They are special. Actually, an NFT is anything and everything that you see on the screen right now. So an NFT is a picture, could be a picture, video, audio, I don't know. It is a software code, as we'll see. An algorithm, definitely, because it's a token. So that makes it something special. Financial tool, because people buy it for investment. It's a digital file, definitely. Tangible, yeah, if you just right click and save it on your computer, you can touch it if you print it. Unique, definitely unique. Why? We'll see. And definitely something else. And it even has an emotional, a sentimental value as well. You see, digital art, definitely digital art. Actually, contemporary art. It's even a type of contemporary art. But head on, to give you a definition, head on, we say that an NFT is an interchangeable unit of data stored on a blockchain that can be sold and traded. So non-fungible, non-interchangeable is one key term. Unit of data is another key term because it's a token, it's encrypted data. It's stored on a blockchain, not necessarily always on Ethereum. And it can definitely be sold and traded, as we've just seen the examples of. So NFT can be a digital photo, video, audio, even physical assets like houses and cars and property. Yeah. Remember last week I told you, I'm going to show you some examples that too. Last week I told you that some important companies like Nike sell their shoes with an NFT. And I remember reading this week the famous clothes company Boyner. Boyner has started to sell clothes with NFT, especially some unique collections. So NFT is anything and can be anything. Basically, however, we say one-of-a-kind digital assets, okay? Tweets, GIFs, you know, Jack Dorsey sold the first tweet. Jack Dorsey, you know, the founder of the Twitter, sold his first NFT for how much? $2.5 million, I guess, okay? But this is important. NFTs give you digital ownership rights. Now, this is very important, ladies and gentlemen. Digital ownership. Ownership is being redefined by the NFTs. And I'm going to talk about this soon. Because each token, each NFT, I mean, is uniquely identifiable on the blockchain, why and how, we're going to talk about this later. NFTs represent the ownership of unique items. This is important. NFTs represent ownership. The word choice is important. Represents. It's not like they give you. They can only have one official owner, and they are definitely secured and verified by the blockchain. Anyone has an idea about what a blockchain is, roughly speaking? You can say, you can write. You've heard the name blockchain before, but I just want to make sure because I'm going to use it a lot. Anything what a blockchain is? A blockchain, maybe you can Google it if you're at home. Huh? A decentralized system that works like a chain. Exactly. A decentralized computer network. Details later. But NFTs are verified and secured by the blockchain. So you cannot just copy and paste one NFT from or to the blockchain. You have to create it there. So because of that, NFTs are, AVAX is a kind of blockchain actually. Also a coin. Good. Remember that if something is non-fungible, that means we cannot replace it or interchange it with another thing. So an NFT is unique in value and in content, of course. So a non-fungible token is actually a digital certificate of ownership stored on a publicly verifiable blockchain. So when you buy a non-fungible token, ladies and gentlemen, you do not buy the actual work of art. What you buy is the digital certificate of ownership. On that certificate of ownership, it says, Ahmet is the owner of this photo, this audio, this car, whatever, okay? You don't have the original item. You have the digital certificate of ownership. That's very, very important. Okay. We talked about this last week and this week also. I'm just moving closely here. I just put here so that we can remember what fungibility is. So non-fungible tokens, okay, prove that you have the original copy, original work of art, original image, original sound, original car, original shoe, unique item. If you have the non-fungible token of a photo, of a sound file, of a text, of a car, of a house, as they are being used now, you can proudly say that, hey, I am the real owner. I am the original owner of this thing, even though you don't have the item in question. Okay, crypto coins are fungible. Like one Bitcoin can be interchanged or exchanged with another one Bitcoin. 10 lira can be broken down into 2 5 liras or 10 1 liras. We talked about this. But NFTs are unique. Okay, you cannot divide or break NFTs into smaller parts. NFTs are unique, one of a kind, and indivisible units of data that proves ownership. So everyone will use it, but we will know that it belongs to us originally. Exactly. Everyone will use it, everyone will copy and paste it, everyone will right click and save it, but you will be proud and you will be happily saying that you have the original copy. Exactly, putting your label on it. That's a very good way of approaching it. Good. But you were asking why we pay so much money then for something that everyone might have, right? I'm going to show some examples to you. This is the key point of marketing, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, this is the key point. Not only an NFT, but anything is as much worth as someone is willing to pay for it. Okay, let me repeat myself. Anything is as much valuable as someone else, in this case the buyer, is willing to pay for it. So the person who bought people's every day 5,000 days work of art NFT for almost $70 million was already willing to pay that much money. For what reason? We'll see you soon. Okay, you can ask for, I don't know, $1 trillion for your work of art, but if nobody is willing to pay that much money, you cannot sell it. So it's a two-way street, not only one-way street. It's a question like why rich people buy diamonds. Exactly, if they are rich, but they continue to buy even more expensive things like diamonds. Okay, so keep that in mind. And NFT gives you the ownership of the original digital item. Keywords are ownership, digital. Okay, digital and ownership, these are keywords. I'm changing the slides. Can everyone see? Can everyone see this slide now? I just want to make sure. Good. All right. So when you buy an NFT, actually, when you buy an NFT, what you buy is the right to transfer that token, because NFT is a token, as we talked about, an encrypted data, to your digital wallet. Okay? You do not have the original, you do not have the copy. You do not have the copy from the artist originally. You have the right to brag about it. I have the original copy. I have paid that much money. Okay? Think of it like this. Think of Mona Lisa. Okay? There is one Mona Lisa, like I said in the previous week. It's in the Louvre Museum in Paris. If you want to see the real, original Mona Lisa, you have to buy a plane ticket, you have to reserve a hotel room, you have to buy the museum entrance, ticket, and go see it there. That's expensive. Real artwork is expensive. But if you just want to see the Mona Lisa, just Google it, find an image, download it. This is the difference. Louvre Museum has the original data, original work of art, so they can brag about it. They can say we proudly have the original Mona Lisa, but you can also say I have Mona Lisa, but two Mona Lisas are different. Okay, this is a very, very key point in understanding what an NFT is, how it works. Okay, so for instance, let me just show you this. Okay, anyone can have a digital copy of your NFT by just right-clicking on it and then saving it to their computer. But because you have the original token, you have the original encrypted digital ownership certificate, only you can say, I have the original. Let me just show you an example, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to share my screen right now. Where is it?
Sir.
Yeah.
What if they copied my digital ownership certificate and then they're trying to sell it? What's gonna happen?
It's not possible because it is stored on the blockchain. Okay, because it is stored on the blockchain, and which is a distributed computer network. Even if somebody tampers or steals it from one computer, your digital ownership will still exist in other computers. So you can still prove your ownership, okay? It's highly unlikely. I mean, it's almost impossible. Let me just show you what I mean.
All right.
You see this people, original, you see this people, right? This, the work of art, the NFT. Today, last year, this day, last year. It's been 1 year, ladies and gentlemen. On the Christie's website, it says it was sold for that much money. So somebody was willing to pay that much money for this. So they have the original work of art. They can display it. They can say, hey, I have the original people work. But let's see what's happening here. You just click on it. Okay. Maybe not the Christie's website. Maybe not the Christie's website. Because it's Christie's. Yeah, let me just say, I'll just find another one. I just want to show what I mean when I say, yeah. This one, for instance. I think you can see. Can you see?
No.
Let me just share my screen again. So this is Beeple's 5,000 days work of art, okay, for almost $70 million. Let's see what's happening. I'm right-clicking on it and saving it. Where is the $70 million now? I have the work of art as well. I just right-clicked on it and save it. Saved it. I'm doing it again. So, but do I have the original copy? Do I have the original authentic work of art? No. I just have a copy. So that's what an NFT is. An NFT sets the owner of the work of art apart from the rest. If you have an NFT, if you buy an NFT, you can say that I have the original one. Yours are just copies. Cheap copies. Yes, it's about the copyright, not about the actual right. Exactly, you are right. It's about the copyright, ownership rights, but in a digital sense. Is there really a huge difference between original copy and saved one? That's a key question, because you know we are the ones. I mean, Turkish people just go to Eminönü or I don't know, Beşiktaş or Kadıköy and buy pirate books, pirate copies of books. You know, people just do this. I mean, I'm sure not you, but definitely some students buy and use pirate copies of books. So what is the difference? But if someone else, another student buys the original copy, original authentic book, they have some other rights, some other privileges, okay? It's not about just that copy, not copy, original, not original issue. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And when we talk about the advantages, we'll see. So any questions so far? The concept of NFT. So when you buy an NFT, you don't buy the artwork. You buy the rights to display, for public display, to sell it again, for personal use, whatever the contract is, okay? But you definitely do not have the digital original file. You have the ownership certificate. You have the ownership certificate. Exactly. Good. So I'm just skip this thing, but I'll give you some YouTube links, and I'm writing them here. Where's the chat part? Chat, yeah. I'm posting some YouTube links here, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to watch them later after the class to get an idea of, to get a better idea of what an NFT is. One of them is in Turkish, so I'm not gonna play it right now because the course is in English, but you can watch them later at your house, okay? So I'm just skipping those parts. But now I'm going to show you some examples of NFTs. Some examples of NFTs. What an NFT looks like. What would happen if you save your copy of the image on a different blockchain address, or just create an NFT which looks exactly like an NFT project that has already have been saved on? They wouldn't be the same, okay? First of all, you cannot save images on blockchain. Very important. Blockchains, I mean, the distributed computer network does not allow you to save huge amounts does not allow you to save files that have huge, data, like tens of megabytes or thousands of gigabytes. You cannot save that much data on a blockchain, first of all. Secondly, even if you created an exact copy of another NFT project, when you try to mint it, when you try to create it on the blockchain, you would be given a different identifier, a unique identifier. Still, you wouldn't have the same collection, because NFT identifiers, hash codes, to get more technical details, hash codes will be different. So still, you would be easily told apart. What was I saying? Yeah, I was going to save some example NFTs for you. Good. So where is it? Actually, there are lots of them, but let me just share my entire screen, or just let me clear some of those tabs here. There are so many tabs here. So, okay. So, for instance, unique digital arts. what an NFT is, an NFT work of art. Okay, so it's a digital art, for instance. So that's an NFT. Okay, on the platform foundation. We're going to talk about the platforms later. So that's one example of an NFT. It could be used for digital unique work of art. That's one example. Another example would be collectible items. Okay, again, I'm going to show it to you. Remember, I talked about CryptoKitties. CryptoKitties are all collectible. You can buy lots of 10, 20 CryptoKitties, okay? Just take a look at this catalog. And you see, lots of things to collect in your digital wallet. That's another example. So, for instance, another example is tradable gaming cards. You know those, Tassoting, Pikachu, remember? There were cards and small toys, coins, let's say. Some of you may remember. It's like this, okay? Digital cards. This time it's digital, okay? For instance, here we have lots of trading cards, Moonbase. So you can buy, you can collect those digital cards, and they are really expensive. Let's say from high to low, and you can see. But you see, almost 7,000 Ethereums. Cards, digital cards. Digital cards. You can use, it's used for them. For music, interestingly, NFTs are used for music as well. Let's see. I'm doing this one by one because it slows the internet. So, for instance, Calvin Harris. Calvin Harris is a famous, DJ, and he sells his music through NFT. You see? Syntopia, another famous music group, sells Snoop Dogg. You see? Dreamers. You see? Lots of singers, music bands, okay? They sell their music through NFT. Music. Also, for instance, interestingly, I'm going to show it to you. That's very interesting. Where is it now? This one. Yeah. You see, blockchain in real estate. Houses, apartments, flats, they are sold by NFTs. You see the amount of sell, the amount of trade. Or physical objects. Yeah, physical objects are also sold by NFT with NFTs. Let's see. Shoes. The shoe is specifically designed by an artificial intelligence according to your preference, and then it is sold with an NFT using Ethereum, as you can see. Yeah, physical objects are sold with an NFT. 22 Ethereums. That's a lot of money, as you can see here. That's a lot of money. And what else? So that's it. For instance, if you, let me just show you, where is it? I'm going to share some other examples here. You can take a look at the examples later on. Okay. So as you can see, NFTs are not just used for digital art. They are not used for JPEG files. They are used for many, many other things. Maybe not the metaverse, but NFT is the future payment methods, actually. But why? NFTs are unique, first of all. They are scarce. I mean, they are rare, provably rare. Because the records are all on the blockchain, you cannot tamper with them, and indivisible. I mean, you cannot break it down. Like I said, NFTs are unique. They give you unique digital ownership to you. They are permanent on the blockchain, so nobody can touch them. And they give you a certificate of authenticity. You can say, hey, this is the original copy. The artist personally, let's say, signed this. It is authentic. So when you buy an NFT, you buy the authentic work, not the fake work or thing. Okay. And if you are an NFT creator, I mean, if you are an artist, okay, selling your work, you can create thousands of copies. For instance, CryptoPunks has 10,000 copies. CryptoKitties has countless numbers of copies. But you can have only one copy too. So that makes your NFT rare and desirable. Because everybody will want to have that one copy, the original copy. So that makes it scarce and rare. Okay. So the price, of course, goes up as per the supply and demand rule. And because NFTs are indivisible, nobody can just steal some part of your work and sell it as their own work. I mean, you cannot buy half the, you cannot buy half a plane ticket. You cannot buy half a concert. You cannot buy half a car, right? You have to buy them in total. This is what an NFT is. An NFT is unique and indivisible. Nobody can break it into small parts. You can, if you are the owner, if you are the rightful owner, you can of course make several copies. That's a different issue. But if you are not the rightful owner, you cannot make an NFT code into smaller units. Okay. So far, let me see that if there are any questions. Somebody wrote something.
Sure, I have a question.
Yes.
You said you will have a digital certificate ownership, but
yes.
My question is that who is giving that a digital certificate? Is just a random institution, or like who is that?
Who is giving, you mean?
Yeah.
Nobody is giving, actually. That's an interesting thing. It's between you and the artist. It's between you and the artist. You buy directly from the artist.
So there's no institution.
No, right? Institution, no third party. You buy directly from the artists or the content creator, and the transaction, I mean, how much money you paid, and the fact that you are the real owner now is written on the blockchain, distributed all over the world. So you get the original certificate of, you get the original digital certificate of ownership directly from the artist.
And then someone will buy from me that certificate.
If that is, I mean, that is possible. We'll
Doesn't
talk
work.
about that too. That is possible too. That's actually one of the good things about NFT. Yeah. So very important three properties. NFTs are unique thanks to the blockchain technology. NFTs are rare, scarce. That's what makes them so desirable. And NFTs are indivisible. You cannot break an NFT into further pieces, smaller pieces. When we continue, we can add another very good advantage or property of NFTs, okay? And that's, I mean, I changed the slide. You can see it right now, right? It says ongoing royalty fees. You can see
We can
it.
see the slide.
Good. So, first of all, let me talk to you about what a royalty fee, or what a royalty in short is. Royalty is a legal amount of money, okay? It's paid by a third party for the use or ownership of an item. Like, for instance, let's say let's say you are a musician, okay? Let's say Barış Manço, for instance. Barış Manço was a famous musician, and Kemal Sunal was a famous artist. Their songs and films are still played and showed everywhere, right? So whenever a TV does this, or whenever somebody does this, plays their song or shows their film, show his films for financial purposes to make money, okay, they have to pay a small amount of money to Barış Manço's children or Kemal Sunal's children, okay? That's the royalty fee. That's a royalty fee, okay? It's usually some percentage. Let's say if you are usually this is protected by the copyright law, okay? That's what a royalty is. It's kind of money that is paid to you if your work, art, or patent is used by another person for financial purposes to make money. Can I make it clear? This is what royalty is. Normally, with traditional art, when a painter sells a painting, or when a musician sells a song or the lyrics of a song, they get money. That's for sure. That's okay. We all know this. But what happens next is very interesting. Let's say I bought a painting from you and I paid 10,000 lira. And let's say 2 or 3 years later, the value of that painting that I bought from you went up. It's now 100,000 lira. And I sold it. So I made 90,000 liras while you only made 10,000 liras. Because I don't have to give you any money. The work of art, the painting, is my painting. Why should I give you more money? I already paid you your money, 10,000, when I first bought your money, when I first your painting, right? That's what happens with traditional art. However, with NFTs, things are different. Okay? Any question? Let me see. It's not like renting. It's totally buying it. Let's say you are a famous painter or musician. I bought a painting or lyrics of a song from you. Okay. Some 5 years later, because I bought them from you, the painting became my painting. I paid you your money. But let's say 5 years later, you died, and the price of the painting became much higher. So I decided to sell the painting. And let's say I sold it for, let's say I sold it for 100,000 lira. So minus the 10,000 lira that I paid you, I made 90,000 lira. But that's my money. I earned 90,000 liras while you only earn 10,000 lira. That's what happens with the traditional art. However, with the NFT, things are different, ladies and gentlemen. Because NFT royalties, I mean, if they are programmed so in the smart contract, just don't get confused right now. We'll talk about smart contracts later next week. NFT royalties give you a percentage of the resale price each time your NFT creation is sold. That's interesting, right? Normally, you wouldn't get any money from the resale of your work of art. But with NFT, if you sell it in the NFT form, and if you program it that way, if you set it that way in the first place, whenever your work is resold, you get some percentage. That person sold your work of art to another person, you again get that percentage. Is it sold for the third time? You again get for the third another percentage. That's how it goes, okay? Usually between 5 to 10%. So let me just show you a quick visual to make it clear. You are the creator. You sell your NFT for some money to another person, first buyer, okay? That first buyer sells your NFT to another person, second buyer. Normally, you wouldn't get any money from this sale, but thanks to NFT, when the second buyer sells it to another person, you get money. Again, you get money from this sale, you get money from this sale, and if it is sold again, you again get money from that sale as well. That's the magical part of NFT. With the traditional art, that wouldn't be possible. But with NFT, that is possible right now. Can I make it clear? Any questions about how it operates? Normally, that wouldn't be the case. Your art is sold, it's sold. Any money for me? Sorry, you are not the owner. With the NFT, now, however, artists or content creators have control over their works, okay, to maximize their earnings. Thanks to this resale function of NFT and thanks to the royalty fees, they can still earn money. And when their work is sold again and again and again, their popularity grows. And when their popularity grows, naturally, their income grows, right? That's how it works. That's how it works with the royalty fee property of NFTs. Any questions so far?
I have a question, but I can't ask it directly. Can I give us example, teacher?
About what?
About the copyrights. If I'm giving an example, if a singer released a song and turn it to an NFT and sells it,
Yes.
but in the real world, who owns the copyrights? I mean, if they are not agree about it, the song's playing somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
The first singer don't want it to play, but the owner of the NFT wants it to play. Who owns the copyrights?
Now, NFTs are actually, I'm going to talk about this next week, but NFTs are actually programs, lines of code, ladies and gentlemen. So if as an artist, if you want to sell your song or album, and if you want to sell it in the NFT format, you have to design the contract, the NFT token, in such a way that the person who buys your song with NFT cannot resell it, cannot make 100 copies, cannot publicly display or play it. Okay?
Okay.
That thing, those conditions are written in the NFT contract. Because when you buy an NFT, you do not only buy the digital, you do not only buy the work, you buy the contract that is designed and set by the artist or the content creator. And if the singer, if the musician doesn't want you to resell it, publicly play it, make 100 copies, then of course the musician is the copyright and rightful owner here. Okay, you only have the right to use it for personal use. Listen it on your iPhone or your computer. Can I make it clear?
Yeah, very clear. Thank you.
You're welcome. So remember, mostly this becomes confusing. It is this: when you buy an NFT, ladies and gentlemen, you do not have the original work of art. You have the rights of ownership, and that ownership is designed, is constructed by the artist, by the content creator. If they don't want you to sell it, you cannot sell it. Because when you buy an NFT, you buy the contract too. What a contract is, we're going to talk about this later next week. If we buy an NFT, do we have rights to change the art or whatever it is? If it is designed so, yes, why not? For instance, the Beeple, the Beeple work of art. Where was it? Let me show you again, just to this one. This one. The Max Winkelmann, the original artist, stated in NFT contract that the buyer, whoever buys his work, can publicly display it, but cannot sell it again. That was the condition. In this case, Max Winkelmann is the original owner. Okay? Max Winkelmann is the original owner. The buyer, I mean, the person who bought almost 70 million, the person who paid $70 million for this work of art, can only publicly display it. Can say, I am the rightful digital owner of this work. But they do not have the original work of art. They have only the digital ownership as designed, as stated by the artists. So many people think that when they buy an NFT, they buy the original work of art. No, they only have the rights of ownership as designed by the original work of original content creator or artists. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is all this is about for this week. It's been almost 2 hours. So I'm going to stop here now. But I really would like to thank you for coming and participating in the class, even if it's online. I hope I made some points clear. So next week, we're going to be talking about why NFTs are so valuable. Okay? And that's where you will find some tricky issues. Why somebody pays $91 million? Why somebody pays $70 million for just a JPEG file? That's what we're going to be talking about next week. Okay? And of course, the blockchain technology and everything. Okay. I'm going to upload the video to my account, YouTube account and Instagram account, and I need to turn these into PDF format, and I'll try to put them on the learning management system as well. Okay, so you can find them when you need. But I need to cover some more topics so that it becomes a clear unit when we talk about them. Okay, so I'm going to stop the class right now. Thanks again for coming. and joining, making the lesson even more enjoyable with your questions. Thanks, everybody, and see you next week. By the way, I will make an announcement, and I'll send an email about the place of the next week's class, because it's changed again. Okay, and please follow my announcements, and please check your emails as well. Thank you, and everybody. So please, like I said, you can find the video on my Instagram account and YouTube accounts as well. See you next week.